Friends, it is with a very heavy heart that I speak today. I am immensely humbled and privileged to join all of you to pay tribute to a person of enormous love for his country and his people, who we just lost a few days ago. Professor G.N. Saibaba began to use a wheelchair at the age of 5 because he had polio and was 90% disabled. But that didn't come in the way of his pursuit of his higher education. He became a professor in Delhi University and was much loved by his students. At the same time, he was concerned about the inequalities and injustice in the country that he saw, and he committed himself to contribute intellectually to efforts for more just and equal world. This became the reason for the establishment to accuse him of being a Maoist, and he spent 10 years in prison. It's extraordinary that at the end of 10 years, when he was released, the High Court, the Supreme Court, underlined that the evidence against him was dodgy. There was no evidence of his having participated in any kind of violent activities. But the important thing is, but 10 years of his life went, and those 10 years he was on a wheelchair with 90% disability. He spent the period of COVID as well in prison and under custody. His wife and his daughter, one can only sort of even begin to imagine what they would have gone through. But none of this broke Saibaba's spirit and his commitment to his imagination and his belief for a better world and a more just and equal country. It's significant that he was a person with severe disabilities, and I'm sure he was concerned about disability, the rights of persons with disability, but his life is also a reminder that a person with disability is in all respects a full citizen of this country and of the world, and can and be concerned about injustices that do not directly involve him or her in their own life experience. And so Saibaba was an intellectual, a professor. He happened to be a person with 90% disabilities, but none of that came in the way of his belief and his struggles for a more just and equal world. And 10 years of unjust imprisonment did not break his spirit, did not damage his soul and his beliefs in any way. But yes, it did devastate his body, and not long after he was finally released, acquitted and discharged of all crimes that he was charged with for over 10 years, his body finally gave way. Uh, we're living in times when people like Saibaba, for their idealism and courage, should be seen as heroes and role models for young people. Instead, you know, a frightened uh, establishment is so frightened of them that they lock them away behind tall prison walls. But persons like Sai Baba could never be imprisoned, and death will not take away what Sai Baba lived for, fought for, and ultimately died for. So, Zindabad Sai Baba, long live Sai Baba, and may our country one day become worthy of the dreams that you saw for this country and for our world. Zindabad.